Summary of The Bright Spot, a novel written by Shalvis. Chapter 1. Luna right awoke to someone nibbling her toes, troubling, since she'd gone to bed alone. Well, except for Sprout, her half-deaf, 15-year-old rescue mutt, snoring behind her. Cracking open one eye, she lifted her head, eyed her early morning visitor, then sighed and plopped back down. Damn it, Ziggy, we talked about this. It's still dark out. She closed her eyes again, but the bed jiggled impatiently. With a groan, she sat up. As the manager of Apple Ridge Farm, a small, charming, and struggling tree farm and botanical gardens, it was her job to oversee everything. Bleat. Including their rescue animals, like Dammit Ziggy, their 2-month-old orphaned kid, currently eyeing her with adoration. Ugh, you're too cute for your own good. Nudging him aside, she got out of bed. Stay. I'm just going to the bathroom. His hooves clicked on the wood floor as he trotted along after her, his expression dialed to, "I'd feel more comfortable if we went together." A few minutes later, they exited the bathroom, still together, freezing in unison as a noise came from her kitchen. Not the still snoring Sprout. A watchdog he was not. She quickly snatched up her phone. Bleat. Shoo. She got 911 teed up with one hand, the other over Daisy's mouth. Please don't be a bear. Who's there? She yelled. Shep. Her farmhand, and she nearly collapsed in relief. Is Daisy here? Shep called out. He ate through the fence again and got out. You're usually his first stop. Luna eyed Dammit Ziggy, aka Daisy, who nuzzled against her calf. She looked up when Shep appeared at the end of her hall. He ate another post, she asked. He nodded. And then ran straight to you, his mama. She had to laugh, but it was true. The baby rescues were her favorite part of this job, and she had a soft spot for DZ, which the kid, both the goat and Shep, knew. Emergency averted, Shep's gaze caught on Luna's PJs, a soft, thin camisole and short boy shorts, and he immediately slapped his hands over his eyes. Oh shit. I mean, crap. I'm sorry, ma'am. Taking a step back, he tripped over his own feet and fell on his ass, hands still over his eyes. He was 21 to her almost 30, so she at least wasn't corrupting a minor, but his horrified reaction had her turning back to her room to pull the throw blanket from the foot of her bed and wrap it around herself. Shep was a good guy and a great farmhand, able to handle whatever she threw at him, but it had taken her 6 months to get him to call her by her given name and not ma'am. Did you hurt yourself? No. He got to his feet with his hands still over his eyes, his Adam's apple bouncing as he swallowed hard. So. He gestured vaguely toward the door. I'll just. Go? Yes, please, and take Daisy with you. Daisy? The goat was eating one of her favorite sneakers. She snatched it back. Preferably before he eats anything else. Shep, who looked like the snowboarding bum that he was whenever he wasn't working for her, lanky, lean, rock star hair to his shoulders, long-sleeved t-shirt advertising ski and board wax, high-top work boots unlaced, nodded like a bobblehead. I'm pretty sure it's not that bad, she said dryly. He went beet red. No, it's definitely not bad. I mean, you're put together right nice. He grimaced. Swallowed again. I'm not trying to say you're hot, because that'd imply I'd dash. Shep. Yeah? Goodbye. Right. He had to come toward her to get Dammit Ziggy, one hand still over his eyes, the other reaching out in front of him. Oh, for the love of, she passed him, heading for the shower. Sometimes she did YouTube Pilates before work, but, well, she hated every minute of it, and she wasn't even sure it was working anyway, which made it easy to skip. I'll see you later. Yes, ma'am. Luna, she called back. Right. Luna. Ma'am. With a sigh, she shut the bathroom door. She turned on the shower and hopped into the lukewarm water, not waiting for the 60-second blast of hot, which was all she'd get. Since much of her day was spent outside being in the Sierra Mountains in April, she needed that blissful minute. Chilly air or no, spring was in full bloom in Tahoe. It had been a drought winter, their second in a row, so the snow was mostly gone, the lake already too low, and here at Apple Ridge Farm, they were doing their best to keep the orchards and gardens thriving since their livelihood depended on it. 20 minutes later, she was dressed in her usual jeans, boots, and staff sweatshirt. At her side, Sprout wore his usual happy-to-still-be-kickin' attitude, ready to make their morning rounds to ensure everything was as it should be before they opened to the public. Even when Luna knew everything was not as it should be. A week ago, the owner of the farm, her boss Silas Whitman, had suddenly and unexpectedly passed away. He'd lived 8 hours south of Tahoe, in Los Angeles, a fact that had suited everyone since he'd been known as the Grinch, but she couldn't imagine what might happen now. 5 years ago, Silas had coaxed her away from a job that had been simply a means to a paycheck. He hadn't been an easy man to work for, long distance or not, but she'd never regretted taking the position she'd come to love more than anything she'd ever done. Silas had shown up, without fail, once a quarter to terrify everyone, and had also called Luna bi-monthly. He'd been far softer with her than anyone else, answering questions, letting her know she was on track. It had been comforting, despite his gruff nature. Having him gone rattled her. She'd honestly believed him too tough to ever die. Would whomever Silas had left the farm to allow them to continue status quo? Or would there be a big shake-up? She had a meeting with the estate attorney later, where she'd no doubt get answers to all her questions, good or bad, but at the moment, she felt like that one time she'd gone rock climbing with friends and had gotten stuck 100 feet above the ground, twirling in the wind. At her side, Sprout was already wheezing because of his asthma. Heart-melting, she scooped up the 40-pound roly-poly sweetheart. How about a lift? He licked her chin and cuddled in for the free ride, the way he had. Chapter 2. Luna sat in her beat-up truck at 5 p.m., the weight of life-changing news pressing on her shoulders. She had just left Silas's attorney's office, and now she found herself in the parking lot of Old Tahoe Tap, a local tavern. Staring at herself in the rearview mirror, she muttered, "Just get out of the car." To her dismay, her reflection remained seated in the truck, mirroring the paralysis that had gripped Luna's mind. "Talking to yourself again?" a familiar voice came from outside the open driver's side window. It was Willow Green, Luna's best friend since forever and the genius behind the farm's botanical gardens. Luna drew a careful breath. "First off, thanks for the almost heart attack. And I'll have you know, talking to yourself is a sign of intelligence." "Except you only talk to yourself when something's wrong," Willow retorted. "So what's wrong?" "Nothing," Luna replied, but her blinking twice betrayed her lie. Willow pointed at her. "You just blinked twice." So? "So, that's your tell." "You're lying." Willow gasped. "Wait. Are our jobs okay?" "Oh my God, please tell me the attorney said our jobs are okay. I just bought this jacket. Do I need to return it and commence panicking?" "No panicking," Luna assured her, trying to deflect the conversation away from the bombshell she was carrying. "Then what's wrong?" Luna hesitated, then decided to shield Willow from the truth. "Silas didn't make my promotion official before he died." Willow's eyes widened. "He didn't? But you asked him about it, right?" Luna drew in a careful breath, crafting a mercy lie. "I'm sorry, Willow." "He didn't leave any word." Willow was silent for a moment, then nodded. "Thanks for trying." Feeling the weight of the lie, Luna nodded. "Of course." Desperate to change the subject and process the bombshell she received at the attorney's office, Luna diverted the conversation. She admired Willow's new leather jacket and tried to lighten the mood, asking, "You work in dirt for a living. How do you always look like $1,000,000? Willow shrugged. "Look like $1,000,000, feel like $1,000,000. She paused. "Even if on the inside my yoga pose is a downward spiral." With the intention of seeking solace and distraction, Luna suggested they head into the tavern. She admired the Swiss Alps village design of Old Tahoe Tap, lit with fairy lights, providing a warm and welcoming atmosphere. Luna was relieved they chose this place to meet, as she desperately needed a drink to cope with the stress and shock of her newfound reality. Silas Whitman had left Luna 50% ownership of the farm. The revelation was a whirlwind, made even more complicated by the fact that Silas turned out to be her biological grandfather. She was to meet her co-owner, Jameson Hayes, the next morning, and they owed a significant payment to investors in 60 days. Luna's head was spinning, guilt and confusion clouding her thoughts. As they entered the tavern, Luna and Willow found 2 empty bar stools. Willow's phone rang, but she ignored it. Luna looked at her. "I'm not answering." "Maybe it's Shane," Luna suggested, trying to steer the conversation away from the farm and the recent revelations. "Maybe," Willow said, unconvinced. "Some things are just not meant to be." Luna, feeling guilty about keeping the truth from Willow, tried to distract her friend. She recounted a humorous incident from a recent barbecue, bringing a smile to Willow's face. Luna knew Willow and Shane's relationship was a rocky one at the moment, and she desperately wanted to shield her from further stress. As they ordered Hawaiian margaritas, Willow admitted her ongoing love for Shane but expressed frustration with their current situation. Luna, feeling the burden of her own secrets, offered support to Willow, reminding her of the strength of their friendship. However, the moment was interrupted by the entrance of Shane's coworkers, prompting Willow to leave for the birthday party of the police chief. Luna, now alone at the bar, realized she had missed the chance to confide in Willow about the farm and Silas's will. Regret settled in, but Luna decided to seize the moment to enjoy the evening and maybe find a distraction. As she observed the eclectic crowd and the atmosphere of Old Tahoe Tap, Luna couldn't shake the looming uncertainties of her future and the responsibilities tied to her newfound ownership of the farm.